So why? Why do you listen to this particular podcast? Why do you listen to any podcast? Why do you use Google? Why do you watch what you watch on YouTube? I was thinking about that, and as a creator of this podcast, it's important for me to know and to communicate to you why, if I were you, I'd be listening to this podcast. One of the things that I think is important for content creators, if you want to be effective, and I do, to consider is what problems are you solving for your audience? In other words, why would they listen to you? What are you bringing to the table? What can you help them with? That's why you Google. That's why you YouTube. YouTube and Google are the two biggest search engines there are. And people usually go there because there's an issue. There's something they're trying to find out. Now, yes, there's plenty of times when people are trying to disconnect and they need entertainment. But that, I don't think, is who my audience is. I think in this particular case, I have an audience that is in tune to what it is that is going on in their life, or at least they want to be. They are aware enough to know that, some changes could make a big difference, and they're willing to give me a shot for 30 minutes or more to try to convince them or help them, better said, help them to rediscover an approach to life that could possibly work better for them. Currently, some things are happening. I don't desire these things. I want new things to happen. So I know that I've got to think new thoughts so I can do new things and get into a different environment. And that's who this audience is as I do my research. Now, we've evolved over the 4 seasons that we've been here. And I really like where we are now. So it's imperative for me, or at least it was, to go back and just really clarify what it is that we provide so that you know what to expect and what we're constantly working on. There are 5 things. If I'm a listener, if I'm a viewer on YouTube or a listener to ReThink, these are things that if you have issue with in your life, these are some things that this podcast can help you with. Number 1 is breaking free from self-doubt. Is incredibly important on our journey, our life's journey, to have confidence, to build resilience, to be able to matriculate through the difficulties that life is going to present to you. And many times people have difficulty with that, i.e., self-doubt. So you begin to doubt yourself and you're not sure of which direction to take, how to make decisions. My decision, this one, the right one. So people do struggle with self-doubt, and that leads them to feeling not good enough and second guessing themselves and missing out on opportunities, a number of things. So what can happen here, what we want to happen is to stop that train of thought, to sort of attack it where it is, and to help you understand that there is a sense of urgency in terms of turning this thought process around. And this can benefit you in these sorts of ways. And so we build tools around that, and we bring podcasts around that to help you to feel better about who you are and where you are in life. But ultimately, really, no one can really do that but you. But we can really help you to see the value that you have, So we've done a number of podcasts where we've talked about how to break free from self-doubt. For example, in this particular season, we're in season 4, we did the last podcast, number 69. And this was how to develop a very strong growth mindset and be resilient. So you can check that out. And then season 2, episode 4. Those are 2 different podcasts that I've listed here that I know we talked in detail about self-doubt. Now, of course, there are more, but those are 2 that I will offer off the top of my head. Why does this have a sense of urgency if I'm the listener, if I'm, someone that's saying, hey, I want to listen to this podcast, what value is it? Well, the sense of urgency as it relates to self-doubt is this. Self-doubt affects your aspect of life, your perception of life, particularly, from your first person vantage. So from personal confidence to career success, this affects you. If you are dealing with self-doubt on a regular basis, this is affecting how you're matriculating through life. So solving this provides immediate relief for you. And it can provide some level of empowerment, some confidence. It can help you, the listener, if I'm thinking about why am I listening, this is going to help me to take confident action, to help me to get back in the saddle, feel really good about myself. So that was like one of the number one things I think we do here at the podcast. And speaking of which, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome aboard. You've caught us on a catch-up day, and we're going to kind of go through some things here. I think it's a perfect time to listen because you can, kind of do the interview process. It's just a good channel for me to listen to. This is a good YouTube channel for me, a podcast to listen to, because these are the things that we do. This is what we do here. And many of you have been here for a long time, and we're just sort of recapping and summarizing. So we're all on the same page moving forward. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you, I've got some really good news for you because I'm doing this for a reason. I want us to all be on one accord, number one. And number two, I don't like it being vague in terms of kind of up and down in terms of the content that we're bringing. Everything should be focused and geared toward a, particular topic, and it will be, and it has been. And the last thing, though, is the tools that we provide to you. What are they good for? This is why I'm telling you this. Because we're developing tools for these categories of problems that our listeners may have. And maybe you don't fall in all of them. I hope you don't. But within these 4 or 5 things I'm going to talk about, we're going to provide you with specific tools over time to help you develop, keep track, journal, affirmation. We're going to do all of that stuff. We have done a lot of that stuff. I just felt like today it was, I don't know, just on my heart to just be like, okay, let's recap. Let's make sure we understand together what we're all doing here, and let's be effective. So that's what we're doing. So this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. We're glad to have you on board. And of course, old timers, thank you guys for being a part. I really do appreciate it. All you guys who sent me really nice fan mail and text messages, keep it up. Thank you so much for the comments and all of the stuff that you're doing in terms of sharing our content with your family members, loved ones, friends, and associates. I will also tell you this, we are almost at the point where we're going to launch our Patreon portion of this, and I think you're going to be really excited about it. This particular episode does a lot to help you understand how much more in detail we can help you here at the podcast. Because we're going to launch off of these free tools into more in-depth tools for our Patreon folks. If you're interested, if this is nobody's twisting your arm, if you're interested and you know it will help you, then we're going to have some one-on-ones periodically, but it's going to be offered to our Patreon folks. And we're going to be able to really get in there, once or twice a week and have some open dialogue and some examples and, some different tools that are going to be able to help you in these arenas. So that was number one, breaking free of self-doubt. Number two is, have you ever felt stuck? Many people do. I have. So that feeling of being stuck in a circumstance, I don't care if it's a job, a relationship, maybe your health, maybe I've been trying to lose this weight forever. I just can't get past X. Well, you feel stuck. So whatever the circumstance is, just know that feeling stuck, in other words, if you feel like you can't break through this barrier, you feel stuck, you're curious, like, how do I do this? And sometimes you just need someone that's looking at your situation from a different perspective to offer their input. And that's what this podcast can be as well. A different perspective. And you say, hey, I never thought to do this. And then you take it and you do it and it works. That's best case scenario. That is best case scenario. And it's as a sense of urgency, because the feeling of being trapped is very frustrating. It's very painful for those of us who have experienced it and are currently experiencing it now. So the urgency in terms of needing guidance on how to overcome limiting beliefs and feeling stuck is very high. Okay, it's very high. So that's another reason why, if I'm a listener, I'd be listening to this podcast, because it could generate ideas and different types of communication and networks that I'm currently not either thinking of or part of. Okay. A couple episodes, episode number 68 in this season 4 and 60 and 68. Go back and listen to those. If you want to jump all the way back to the first of the season, listen to episode 30. We're always talking about new, innovative types of ideas that can generate some sort of movement and keep people from being stuck in their minds, because you're only stuck in your mind. And of course, we know that, right? We're stuck here. So we can either rethink what we're doing, or we can think new thoughts that can get us unstuck. So that's number two. Number three is the feeling of being overwhelmed and not feeling very calm. All right. So feeling overwhelmed and helping you to find the calmness in your life. Um, so many of us have so many different daily responsibilities. It's work stress, relationship, you name it, particularly if you're an entrepreneur. And on top of that, we've got digital distractions, and many of us just feel overwhelmed. We feel disconnected from our sense of calm, from our inner peace. We have very little time for ourselves, or at least that's what we think. And so, because we spent very little time on the inside, with the self, we're having events of anxiety, depression, stress. Why? Because we're trying to do all this stuff. And even if we're getting it done, we don't really feel fulfilled or satisfied. And so more stuff is always coming. And so we've got to refocus and rethink how we are approaching our lives. How can we act and not respond? Okay? Act and not always be the responder. You're not in control when you're responding to life. Okay? But when you are acting on life and you understand that it is coming from you, not happening to you, but this is coming out, this is coming inwardly and outward from you, this is a much better approach to life. So we talk about that here. We talk about how to fight anxiety and stress and depression and things like that. Thinking different thoughts, approaching life different ways, could possibly help you. If you're stressed out now, what's the hurt to try a new idea for 30 days? So episode 67 of this particular season 4, can help you. So go back and listen to that. 2 more to go. So number 4 is building resilience and a very strong growth mindset. And that's very critical, because I believe the people who would listen to this podcast are free thinkers. They're entrepreneurs. They're very free flowing corporate or business people. Even if they are, inside a corporate environment, they still operate much like an entrepreneur. There are people who want to achieve big things, and they may consider themselves perfectionists at one point, or they may think, hey, I've got to do all of this for my family, or I need to set an example, et cetera, et cetera. So you need resilience. You need a resilient mindset. You need to understand that every event that comes your way, positive, negative, it is for your benefit, it's for your growth. And that is not something that we're taught. That is something that you develop. That is something that you have to develop. So many of our listeners, they do lack a resilient mindset initially, I think. And so you can see setbacks as failures. You can see failures as reason to quit rather than opportunities to grow. Einstein is the one who said, failure is our opportunity to start over again with with more information. The road to success is paved with failure. All of this stuff you've heard, but it's easier said than done, because when you fail, it doesn't feel great. And it's hard to see good in things that don't feel great. So here we talk about how to build resilience, how to put together a plan so you're not surprised if things don't go your way, how to detach, how to point your emotion, how to focus, how to meditate, how to use mindfulness as a tool to help you to stay calm. The sense of urgency here is high, because shifting to a growth mindset is crucial for long-term success. You don't want to operate, if your heart, let's say, for example, if you're extremely overweight. If you're really overweight, your heart is not working really hard one day. It's working hard every day, like every hour of the day. And so the sooner you can take the pressure off of those valves and off of your heart, the better off you're going to be. Long-term success. And the same way with stress. Whether you're a small person or large person, stress is the same thing. So if you don't have a growth mindset, if you if you now look at your failures as just reasons to quit, or you look at anything that comes in towards you as a life event, as a challenge, as an obstacle instead of an opportunity, we just changed the way that you see these things, because doing that, the things you see will change and you'll feel differently about them. There is a possibility. There's a strong possibility. If you change your perspective, you can look at the same situation given time. The thing that doesn't feel great now can feel spectacular later on. Doesn't it? Done it. I've been laid off from a job before, unexpectedly. I literally got called in and said, "Hey, and by the way, bring your laptop." That's happened to me. But that was the exit from that particular company into the entrance of my first entrepreneurship. I started a production company. That's how I know how to do audio and video and all this other kind of stuff, because that was it. That was my intro. It didn't feel great. Then I look back a year, 3 years afterwards. I was doing my own thing on the AV side, being an entrepreneur, and I felt better about it. So many of us go through divorces, we go through health challenges, et cetera, et cetera. It's just how you see things. Perspective and perception means a lot. So that's number 4. That's another reason why I think people listen to this podcast. And the last reason is this, and it may be the best reason, and that is finding true purpose and direction. I don't think I could receive a better compliment regarding this podcast if someone was to tell me, "Hey, something you said, one of the podcasts that you did, helped me to find my life's purpose and helped me to find direction." Because if someone, what we're all here for is that life's purpose and direction. Our definition here of fulfillment is this: when your life's work meets your life's passion, you have the greatest opportunity to be fulfilled. And it's not about working for money. It's not about just trying to get rich. It is always about being fulfilled and living in your purpose. We help you to try to understand what that purpose is. Only you know. But there are tools and there are elements of discussion and interview techniques where you can uncover the things you're most interested in, the skills that are the best coming from you. Because there's only one you. You may be a great communicator, but maybe you just don't, like being around large groups of people. You maybe have had a number of years in corporate where you had this particular skill set, and maybe you can take it out into private industry and do this. There's so many different opportunities for us to discover our true purpose and our direction. We just got to go with the flow. A lot of people, though, are searching for their actual purpose. They're going from job to job to job, relationship to relationship to relationship. I mean, I can't tell you, I know probably more than 2 people, and that's a lot because I don't have a big social network, but I know personally more than 2 people that have been divorced 3 times. So I know people going from relationship to relationship to relationship, and they're looking for something. Can't say what that something is, but they're looking for something. I know people go from church to church to church. They go from job to job to job. They're trying to find something that is already within them. They just need someone or something to help them unlock it, to see it. So the sense of urgency there is great. Obviously, this is your life. So day to day, what are we doing if we're not living in our purpose? Okay. So those are the things that I think, guys, those are the top 5 things that we help you do here at ReThink. And I want you to listen to it again, because there could be something that you missed. I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you're in that 5. You're in that 5. And what I can tell you is we have a number of digital products and different types of techniques that we're going to present to you here and on paid platform that's going to help you to circumvent a lot of this and to help you to as it relates to how you feel about yourself and how you're doing your life. So the cool thing about it, guys, is when you tune in to ReThink, whether you're on YouTube or on our podcast platforms, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you know what to expect. And we all need a little help. And I'm not suggesting to you, please hear this. I am not suggesting to you that I am some subject matter expert in all of these areas or even in any of these. What I'm giving to you is 53 years of life experience as a person who's been married for over 30 years or been with my wife over 30 years and have raised 4 kids and has somewhat extensive education and entrepreneur and work background. I'm just giving you my experience and also my willingness to want to help you. Okay. So that's what you have. I say that because sometimes I feel like we get on and we listen to podcasts and we go on YouTube and we just automatically assume this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. And we don't suss out what people are saying. And it's so important because so many people just want you to click on their video or listen to their whatever so they can get, ad revenue and monetize and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that people don't have a desire to help you. I assure you many of the people do, but many of them don't. A lot of it is clickbait. A lot of it is hitting your sore spots to get you to click on something, to get you to buy something. And that's not what we do here. I'm being very honest with you because it's disappointing, I think, when you're truly trying to seek help and then someone is taking advantage of you in your vulnerable situation. That's not good karma. That's not how I live. That's the exact opposite of how I am as a person and the things that I want to be remembered for. So my thoughts are, and I've told you guys this before, especially a long time as you've heard me say this, I just think you give what you have right now and it'll be returned to you. I think the universe will reciprocate. I believe we live in a cosmos and not a chaos for a reason. I believe there's order to all of this. I believe we're all one. And I believe by helping others, we're really helping ourselves. So you've got to come to the understanding of knowing who you are. In the last episode, in the last 2 episodes, we talked about the big I, not the little me. When you really understand that you are that larger I, the awareness, that Christ consciousness, that universal mind, that spirit, you're part of that, then you can see that we all are a part of that. There can be 100 candles in the room. It's only one light. There's only one light. 100 different candles, one light. And that's the way I approach life. And so I would freely give to you what I have in terms of knowledge in hopes that it'll help you. And that is my only motivation. And I'll only ask that you pay it forward. You do the same thing. You're at the grocery store and you got 20 extra bucks, somebody behind you. Hey, pay for their stuff. You heard me say that before. You're at the drive-through. Pay for the car behind you. Pass along this good energy. I'm telling you, it comes back to you. It is worth it to sow in this stuff, to be the person that you really want to be, to realize the person that you always knew you could be. That's what this channel is about. So I just wanted to make that clear. That's the whole reason of the podcast today. I just wanted to make that clear. It has been on my mind. I don't like ambiguity and to feel like I'm in this gray space. So from point to point, I may circle back and say, hey guys, just remember, this is what we do here. And here's what you can expect, just so you're clear. Just so you're clear. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me all day today. And keep sending those text messages. Thank you guys who did purchase our 31 Days to New Beginning. I see the more people buying that because it's on sale right now. So please avail yourself of the lower prices. So go ahead and make that purchase. But that's a big value. We spend a lot of time and energy into that particular online course, and you're going to get a lot out of it. It's yours to keep, and you can replay it as much as you like. It hits every area I just talked about. So thanks again, guys. Have a great day, and we'll be back again soon with another great podcast.